Hi girls and boys, welcome back. This is grade 4, lesson 11.3. Today we're going to measure and draw angles, and we're going to do that by using a tool called a protractor. But first, let's get into a problem and take a look at what exactly it is that we want to measure. Alright, so this is Mrs. Walker, and she wants to make a clay sculpture of her daughter as her daughter appears in this photo from her dance recital. How can she measure angle DCE, which is formed by her daughter's arms? Please take a moment to look at the photograph and see where you see the ray CD and the ray CE, where they come together and they form this wonderful angle. Well, we're going to use a tool called a protractor today to help us measure the size of this angle. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, boys and girls. So I have placed the center point of the protractor on the vertex C of the angle. You can see that right down here. Then I align the 0 mark on the scale of the straight edge of the protractor. See, there's a 0 here, and it goes all the way across to the 0 here, and I have set the ray CE on that 0 line on the straight edge of the protractor. Now I'm going to look at the curved edge of my protractor. I notice that there are two sets of numbers. There's a set of numbers that starts on the outside edge and goes from 180 to 170 to 160 to 150 to 140. But I notice there's also an inside edge where I've got 10, 20, 30, 40. Oh my goodness. So what is it that I'm going to do? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at the type of angle that I have. Well, my angle is C to D, D to C to E. That is the amount of turning from this ray all the way around to this ray. And I'm going to say that that angle, frankly, is an obtuse angle. So let me see here. If I'm using C and E as my baseline, I better start at 0. So let me go ahead and count. I'm going to use the inside edge and count 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, and look, the ray CD intersects my protractor at 120 degrees. So I'm using my inside edge of numbers starting with 0 right here, and I'm moving all the way around to the point where my angle intersects my protractor. I'm looking at the numbers on the inside edge because I'm dealing with an angle that's opening in an obtuse way, so I know it's got to be greater than 90 degrees. Let's see how this works. My first step will be align the center point and the vertex of my angle, which I've done right here. Next, I'm going to align the center point and the vertex on my protractor. Then I'm going to align the bottom ray and the 0 point along the straight edge of my protractor. Finally, I'm going to read the scale on the inside edge starting at 0 from the ray CE. So the angle DCE equals 120 degrees. It is an obtuse angle. Good job, boys and girls. All right, boys and girls, let's try it. Taking a look at the protractor on the right, let's see if we can answer the questions. First of all, you're going to measure the angle ABC. First thing I want you to notice is, does the angle ABC open to the left or open to the right? Okay, you're right, it opens to the left. When it opens to the left, we're going to use the vertex point B. So we're going to go ahead and place the center of the protractor on point what? Yes, point B. Hold on. We're going to go ahead and align the ray BC with 0 degrees. And we're going to find that on the straight edge of our protractor. Now we're going to read where the ray BA intersects with the same scale. Now, looking at this, because my angle opens out to the left, I want to make sure that I'm using the right scale. So let's look closely. Am I going to use the inner scale or the outer scale? So do I use this scale or do I use this scale? Let's take a really close look. Oh, you're right. Because the ray BC is on the 0 degrees line, we're going to start with the outer edge. Why? Because the outer edge starts with 0. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at, as we move around, move up and over, and we're going to move in this direction. We have 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Now let's take a look. As we look at this, our line for our ray for BA intersects our protractor somewhere between 60 degrees and 70 degrees. Notice all those little tick marks. How many tick marks are there? Let's take a closer look. You're right, there are 10. And so halfway between 60 and 70, the answer is 65. So the measure of angle ABC is 65 degrees. Good job. You did very, very well on that. Thank you. All right, so before I give you the practice problems, I want to ask you 3 questions. First of all, have I aligned my vertex point and one ray of my angle correctly on the straight edge 0 line of my protractor? Number 2, does my angle open to the left or to the right? And if I think about that, that's going to help me with my next question. My third question is, am I reading the correct scale on the curve of the protractor? This is important because I want you to think about what you know about angles up to this point. If my angle looks like an obtuse angle, I know it has to be greater than 90 degrees, but less than 180. So if I look at the angle I'm measuring, and I get an angle measurement that's less than 90 degrees, a little red flag should be going off in my head saying, I must be reading the wrong edge, the wrong scale. So as you take a look at the practice problems next, boys and girls, please keep these 3 questions in mind. Here are your practice problems. In practice problem number 1, I want you to find the measure of angle XYZ. And you will record angle XYZ and measures and tell me in degrees what it measures. That may not have taken. Let's try it again. Here is practice number 1. I want you to find the measurement of angle X, Y, Z, and record it in the degrees. Here is number 2. In your next problem, you have 2 questions to answer. This is figure P. You're going to look at and answer the question, is angle ABC greater than or less than 90 degrees? And tell me what angle ABC measures. Don't forget to put the degree sign. Now on to question number 3. On number 3, I'm going to give you an answer that I want you to answer in sentences. Number 3 says Hector measures angle UVW with the protractor at the right. He writes 130 degrees for the angle measure. What would you tell or what would you say to Hector to help him correct his mistake? Please be specific, please be helpful, and please be respectful. Hector wants to learn. Okay, boys and girls, try those practice problems, and we'll see you later. Bye for now.